Hello guys, today I want to show you one trick with Artisan commands. For example, if you use Artisan commands and you ask for some data from your user of that Artisan command, there's more convenient way with autocomplete. So for example, you have an Artisan command of resending invoice to some email and you ask for that email. So if you run PHP Artisan invoice resend, it's asking for email and you go povilas@laraveldaily.com for example, and you get that email as a variable here and it is successful. But what if you have options of like hundreds of emails, for example, and you want them to be auto-completed? As soon as someone types, the terminal would suggest the options. For that, you would use a different prompt, not this ask, but this anticipate. Anticipate accepts second parameter array of options. So let's change that to anticipate, and then here you will have array of options. For example, povilas@laraveldaily.com or admin.com, something like that. And now if we run the same command, invoice resend, we start typing Povilas and see I can just hit enter. So that's how the default anticipate works. Now, can we load that from the database? Sure we can. For example, you have a user table, typical user table from Laravel, user, pluck is a collection function of which field you want to be returned, email, and we need to transform that to array. Or in fact, maybe it's not necessary, maybe the collection will still work. Let's try it out. User pluck email, and in my database, let's take a look. I have users. I have one user, so it starts with we codinosi. Let's try it out. Resend the invoice, and it is auto-completed from the database. If I start something different, there's no autocomplete. So it still works. So we don't need to even transform that into array. Collection pluck works. But there may be a problem if you don't want to load immediately all the users. For example, you have hundreds of thousands of users and you don't want to load them all into the array. Maybe you want to do that on typing. So whenever someone types a character, then there would be a call to the database. Sure, instead of doing user pluck, you do a callback function from, for example, email. And then inside of that callback function, you return the array with filtering by email. So return user pluck email, and here you can already have where statement, user where still pluck email, and then email like, for example, email starting with that email, right? So now there will be a lower amount of data transferred from the database, but on the other hand, there will be more database queries. So on each of the character typing, there will be a database query. So for example, if we do invoice resend and start typing WEC, there were 3 queries to the database. In fact, 4 even before typing there was a query. And we will fix that in a minute. To see what queries are run under the hood, of course, we cannot use Laravel debug bar in the terminal, but we can use Laravel telescope, which will log all our queries. So if we rerun our command, invoice resend, start typing. Oh, interestingly, it doesn't work with the collection here. It needs to return the array. So it needs to be pluck to array. Let's try to do that again. Invoice resend, and it works. And if we reload our telescope, as you can see, this is the first time and this is the second time. So the first query without any data, then WE, WEC, and then the full one. So we kind of fixed that there is a query only with some data, but we need to remove this one. So inside of that callback function, if email is empty, return empty array. So early return, and if we delete all the queries from telescope and rerun our command, WEC, it worked. And now if we refresh, we don't have that empty query, so at least you will have some filtered data coming from the database. It may save RAM memory. So pick your poison, whether you want to load everything from memory or you want to rely on the characters that are being typed and then run query on each of them. But in any case, autocomplete is a great helper for anyone who would run Artisan commands. If you want more Laravel tips, similar or related to Laravel, subscribe to the channel because the channel is called Laravel Daily and I keep shooting daily videos. And see you guys in those other videos.